Hey there. 10 things you should know before starting an online business or any business for that matter, right? So, the first thing you should know is what you are going to do with it. What is your plan, right? So, you should have a clear structure of what your goals are. You should have a goal, right? You cannot just roam around and do nothing. So the first thing is have a definite plan with a goal, right? So let's say you have some specific goals, right? Let's say in the next 6 months your goal is to get this and this much sales, or in next 6 months your goal is to publish content for your business, right? Or create video content, right? Whatever it is, you need to have goals, right? So let's say you have you have a goal to create uh, 40 videos in, let's say, 1 month, or you have a goal to earn, let's say, $10,000, right? Or you can say 7 lakh rupees in India, right? So yeah, so you need to have a goal. The second thing is you need to focus more on the problem solving aspect of your business, right? So if you are not I mean, most of the time entrepreneurs focus on having a good product, right? Having a new product or something that no people have never seen in their lives, right? Like in Japan, there are lots of products, very unique products, right? But the problem is that having a unique product is a different thing, but is that product solving any problem of your customers, right? So you should also focus on that. you know Whenever a customer or a person buys, they always think how this is going to solve my problem, right? If they are um, buying anything from you, let's say Photoshop, right? So what is their problem, or what are their needs? They want to edit something, right? With the help of your software, right? Very complex tasks, they can do with the help of this software. So that is what they want to do, right? And that is their problem. They want to make a photo. So Photoshop is there to solve that problem. But you have some product which is utterly useless, right? Or maybe something like, uh, it's fancy, right? But it doesn't, solve any problem, right? Then then that is not a good thing, because no, it will definitely hurt sales, right? So you need to plan your product well, right? And the third thing is that you should you should not focus on overnight success, right? Because overnight success rarely happens. I mean, never happens, right? Because whatever overnight success that you have read about, like in case of Google or Amazon, right? They were not actually overnight success. They may seem like it, but a lot of effort and hard work was put into it, to become successful, after to have a status like getting successful overnight, right? So but behind the scenes it took them 3 years, 10 years, right? Even 10 years to generate that much revenue that they became a successful company. And you know so it's kind of like that. So yeah, in fact, I also thought that I'll become a overnight success. I have this idea, okay, this idea I have, now I'll become a millionaire very fast because this is a unique idea and this and that. But having an idea is good, but executing that idea takes some time. Also generating an audience for uh, you can say a customer audience, right? So generating that is a tricky thing, right? Because if you have a very, very, very good product and no one knows about it, then who is going to buy it, right? So it cannot be an overnight success. Nobody can know overnight that you are this and that, right? Even those famous people went through the process, right? And the fourth thing is to focus on your strength, not your weaknesses. Like if you don't know something, it's not a big deal. you can get someone else to do that for you. Let's say you don't know how to edit your videos or something like that, then don't worry about it, just hire someone and get the job done, right? If you're going to focus on your failures, or if all your things that you can't do, right, you'll be kind of stuck over there. Like your mind will be totally focused on that you cannot do this, you cannot do that. And what happens is it sends a negative feedback to your brain, and at the end, you know nothing happens because you have a negative outlook, right? If you're going to think that you cannot do this, you cannot do this, then you'll definitely not do this because you'll have a fear, right? So focus on your strengths. Doesn't matter what you don't know. Focus on what you know, right? And mm, build your business around it, or maybe learn a few things. That's okay, but don't focus on your mistakes, or maybe flaws, right? Fifth thing is, you should have a you know great surrounding, right? I mean that you should have a right team to do the work for you, right? Because if you're looking to outsource your work, right, as I said earlier, then you need to look at for your right team, because if you are trying to save a lot of money, right, hiring some cheap hiring some people for cheap, right, or less money, it isn't good, right? Because the lesser money you give, the less motivation they have, because uh, in the end they know that the reward is going to be less, right? So no one is that motivated to help you or really give you the perfect product, or whatever you are doing, right? Whatever you choose that person for, right? So so it's really important that you have a good team around you. Yeah, you should definitely keep track of your budget, right? Because that is important. But you should not try to, be very, very, very conservative, right? Because, actually, what happened is, in the organization that I was working with earlier, right? What happened is, my boss kind of, was not keen in hiring new people, right, with better skills, right? So what they did it she did everything herself only, right, my boss, right? So yeah, right. So doing everything by yourself is not a good idea, right? And it's definitely you know you know time consuming, and giving you a lot of stress as well, right? And if you give your work to someone who can do it for very, very cheap, then it also screws up with your mind as well, because that happened, right? So what happened is, my boss gave some work to some other people, right? And it was some video project, right? And what they did is they took a lot of time, and like like a lot of time, like 6 months, I guess, to create a simple 4-minute video. And they didn't even delivered it, right? Their pay was not that good, I guess, because I think, right? Or yeah, in fact I also remember that the servers that our softwares were running on were not that good. I mean, it was the cheapest of the cheapest of all. And I can say the quality was very bad. Most of the time it was down. Not most of the time, but yeah, a fairly good amount of time it was down, and that's not acceptable if you're in business, right? So yeah, you need to selectively make a budget for something, right? You cannot just ignore some other stuff like marketing, or something like that, which is very important as well, because product is not everything. You need to market it, and let other people know what you had made, right? So marketing plays a very important role, even if your product is top notch and best in the industry, right? Now the sixth thing is that businesses, starting as an entrepreneur, or any business for that matter, like right, it is not that easy, right? It may be simple, but it's not easy, and there are chances that you might fail, right? So you need to accept the chances that you might fail, because lots of people fail, right, starting an online business or any business for that matter. And yeah, there are statistics that show that, but you don't have to be scared of that statistics, right? If you fail, it's okay, right? You should learn from your failures, right? Because that is there is a learning curve to become an entrepreneur, right? In fact, you had a learning curve even while you were in school or in a college to get an engineering degree or any other degree, right? So there is a learning curve, right? And it was not like that you were earning the instant you joined the engineering college, right? So in business, it is the same thing only, right? So business is a completely different thing from engineering, and it has a learning curve, right? And it's not like that once you become an entrepreneur, you start generating revenue right off the bat, right? So failures will come on along the way, and don't get disappointed with it, and don't give up on it, right? Just have some faith in yourself, and you know learn from your mistake, right? you know the more you fail, the faster you fail, the better, because you can analyze more things very fast. Because if you failed in, let's say, 10 scenarios, right? So you know that these 10 scenarios will not work, and you can figure out which other scenarios may not work because of this scenario, right? So it sounds complicated, but yeah, you'll figure it out, right? What to do and what not to do, right? So if you are failing quickly in the beginning, it's a good sign, right? If imagine if you fail later in stage, right? So let's say you made a lot of millions of dollars and then you failed in between, right? What would that do, right? It would be a disaster, right? So it's better to prepare for failures and fail in the beginning, right? you know like tens hundreds of times, right? Even Thomas Edison failed so many times to create the light bulb, right? So it's okay, it's completely okay, right? To you know don't be afraid of failure. Seventh thing is understand what you want to deliver, right? So you need to have a clear picture of what you're going to do and what your message is, right? So let's say, for example, I created this YouTube channel, right? And I want to deliver all the strategies, the business strategies to make money online, and also all these things, right? I made this video so that it will help you along the way. If you're a new entrepreneur, it will help you along the way, right? So all these video, all these experiences I'm sharing for the intent that you know you and I grow together and be a successful entrepreneur, right? So I'm learning from my mistakes and sharing it over here so that you don't make mistake. That is my clear message over here, right? So I have made this channel for that purpose. Likewise, if you are creating a product or any other thing, then your message should be clear. It should not be there should be no confusion, what your product is, right? So it should be not like that if a person downloads an app from an Google Play Store, and found out that it's not a game, right? They downloaded your app from game section and found out that it is some app about writing articles or photo editing software, right? That would be a disaster, right? Because your audience doesn't know what to expect, right? So it shouldn't be like that, right? There should be no confusion on what you're trying to do, right? If your goal is to do certain specific thing like educate, or maybe create an app to um, create a designs, right, like a photo editing app, then stick to that only. Don't kind of diversify, right? You are not leaving money on the table, right? So you'll make a common app that you know uh, In this app you can do photo editing as well, you can play games, you can do all that thing. You have never seen any app like that, have you? Even if they existed, right, they were deleted, right, they failed, right? Likewise, it may not seem like this obvious to you, but many of the times, right, as a young entrepreneur or beginner, right, what happens is, they tend to diversify into too many things, and the message is not clear, and it happens sometimes, right? It is, learn from those mistakes, right? It doesn't matter. Make that mistake if you want to, but if you know, don't make that. But if you didn't know, make that mistake. Don't hesitate, right? Taking action is the most important thing. Eighth thing is know your target audience, right? So if you are a company that creates cribs, right, baby cribs, right, those cribs that come, right, so you will not target those audience like adults who want to stay in that crib, right? You'll target those people who are looking to have a baby or already have a baby, and want that crib, right? So your target audience will be that, right? You won't target single bachelors or someone like that, right? So you should know what your target audience is. Likewise, if you're creating some mechanical toy or Lego blocks or whatever, right? You're not going to target adults, right? Because again, adults are not going to play with Lego blocks, right? Children are going to play with it. So your ad will be personalized to them, right? So you'll convince your with the help of your ad, you'll convince the children, right? And it's children's job to convince their parents to get that thing, right? So you need to know your audience, right? So don't think that if you don't diversify or make your product something which is likable by everyone, right, then only it's a hit. No, it's not, right? You can be very specific and still make a lot of money, right? So keep that in mind, because it is going to fail spectacularly, because you're going to accommodate each and every audience demographic, you can say, right? And let's say my channel is about money making and business strategies, and if I'm going to target audience that watches memes on YouTube or funny pranks, something like that, I won't be able to make such content, right, which will attract both of them and satisfy both at the same time, because the other audience just want pranks, right? They came for a prank, right? So yeah, so my audience is fixed, and I will not try to diversify into something else, right? Pivoting is something else, right? So you completely choose your focus to something else, but you cannot do both, right? So fix on one thing and stick to that. Ninth thing is that you should learn from a mistake of other people, right? So most of the time what happens is, if your friend makes a mistake, you just laugh at them, right? And laugh so hard and discourage him, right, or her, whatever, right? But that does not help you in any way. You just had a good laugh and you never learned from their mistake, right? Maybe someday you'll do the same mistake and you'll laugh at yourself, right? So it's better to learn from others' mistakes, right? So if you are doing any prank, then that's not what I'm talking about. 10th, and the most important of all, is sales, right? So if your business is not making any sales, then your business is doomed to fail, because if you have a nice product and everything, top notch, right, whatever, right, best in the industry, but if you're not making any sales and no one knows about your product, then you're losing money, right? Because you're not making a return on your investment. And that is why sales is very important. It cannot be ignored. All right, you may think that it's very easy, or some basic simple stuff, but it is not. All right, building an audience from scratch for any product or for any business is not easy at all. It takes a lot of effort, and trust me, it takes a lot of effort, right? at this making of this video, I just have only 18 subscribers, 18, right? 18 subscribers. And yeah, it takes a lot of effort. I made over 20 videos and still it takes a lot of hard work, right? So yeah, so in order to generate sales, it will take very hard work, right? Hard work, because how are you going to generate sales if you don't have any audience? And so the major part of your sales will be generating audience to sell to, right? So this is the number one rule. You need to have a plan to get your product sold to the audience, and you should, um, build your product around it, because if if you're creating some product which is not selling much or have not much use in the market, then you're not going to make a lot of money, and it would be not completely worth it, right? Or not worth it at all. So you need to make it worth your while, and that is why you need to select your product carefully, such that you can accommodate those sales and get those sales and be profitable and become a successful entrepreneur. I hope this 10 things helped you a bit, right? Gave you a bit more perspective as to what you should do as an entrepreneur or a business owner, right, at the start, right? So keep all these things in your mind and make note of it, right? Because it is going to help you in the long run, right? It's not a short term game, it's a long term investment in yourself, in your business. And I hope all the best to you guys, right? And make sure to subscribe my channel for more content on business strategies, or business mindset, right? And make sure to hit that like button, because it helps me a lot to know how my content received to my audience, right? And yeah, you can follow me on Medium as well, because I will be posting new articles very soon, right? So stay tuned for that. Okay then, and until next time.